we always are going to judge contenders not just by who has the most talent, who has the best coach, even though those are significant factors, but I always believe we are going to judge contenders by their A game. Is your A game good enough to win a Super Bowl? We know this to be true with the Niners, the Chiefs, the Bills. Their A games, when they're playing their absolute best, feel like they could win a Super Bowl. And last night, and remember, we told everyone why overreacting to 0-2 was stupid. And that's because last night, a team that started 0-2, the Baltimore Ravens, played an A game, and they dominated the Buffalo Bills. The Ravens came out, first play of the game, 80-plus yard run, Derrick Henry, boom. Continued that, kept continuing to run the ball. Lamar was accurate. Lamar was making plays with his legs that no other quarterback, respectfully, even this most athletic group of quarterbacks we've ever had, no quarterback can make the kind of plays and the kind of runs Lamar Jackson can. The Ravens are doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And now if you look at their last two games since starting 0-2, take away about a rough 15-minute stretch of the Cowboys game. Outscored them 28-6, beat the Bills 35-10. It's starting to look like the Ravens from last year, where when it came time for big games, they scored 30-plus on the Lions, 30-plus in a 4-touchdown performance against the Niners. When it comes time for these big games, when it comes time for Lamar to play like an MVP, which he is 2 of them, that's what the Ravens look like. And we even got it against a team that was clearly not on their A game, but that's how good they were, is that I don't know exactly how bad Buffalo played. Yeah, Josh Allen had the fumble, but he didn't throw interceptions. To me, if Josh Allen is playing bad, he's throwing interceptions, he's being reckless. It didn't feel like that. It felt like the Ravens they lined up and they kicked the Bills' ass for 60 minutes. And even when there was that little bit and the Bills came out in the second half and they scored, and there was probably some Ravens fans, we're going to talk to Tony later today, who started to get a little nervous of, are we going to have a repeat? Boom, they go out, they get a touchdown. They quiet the noise. They put 60 minutes of kick-ass football on the field. And that's what the great teams can do. And that's why you can't win a team, if we know them to be great, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions, even if their record isn't stellar or they get off to a slow start, you can't ever count them out. Even teams like the Bengals, who I'm getting closer and closer to, how good are they? When they've had these slow starts in your past, the reason they can break out of it is because when you're a great team and you can put together an A game, you're as good as anybody in the league. And last night, the Ravens showed you, when they put together an A game, they're as good as anyone in the league. Lamar, 2-time MVP. Derrick Henry, maybe the best pure natural running back still left in the league. A defense that under Zach Orr is really putting it together. Kyle Hamilton's making plays. Marlon Humphrey looks more like his former self. The defensive line's getting pressure. Again, that's not them beating an average team or a so-so team. They beat a team that a week ago, everybody was willing to crown the best team in the NFL, the 3-0 Buffalo Bills. Again, we give the Bills credit when they beat the Jaguars, who aren't very good, and they soundly beat them. We give credit to the Niners when they soundly beat the Jets. So then, when you are a great team, and you play another great team, and you soundly kick their ass for 60 minutes, we got to give you credit. I heard this early, and I thought it was really impactful. We all love, fans especially, not just analysts, but fans especially, love mobile quarterbacks. Not just now, but go all the way back to the history of the NFL. Now, I can't go all the way back as Fran Tarkenton, but I'm sure Fran Tarkenton had a hell of a fan club. But Michael Vick, even before he was a great passer, had a huge fan club and was a hugely popular player amongst players, fans, etc. Then when he started to throw the ball better in Philadelphia, he almost had this, and he had this second resurgence of his career. He got even more popular. We liked him even more. Cam Newton, an MVP, 30 touchdowns passing, 10 rushing touchdowns, the true potential pinnacle of a dual threat quarterback season. Made it to the Super Bowl. The current group of guys, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, even to his credit, is somewhat mobile. Josh Allen. But we claim to like all of those guys, and yet the one who I hear get criticized the most, and that's what this person was saying, is that Lamar gets criticized more than any of them. And he's better than any of them at being a dual threat quarterback. He's the guy who's got multiple 1,000-yard seasons. He's the guy who's got multiple MVPs as a dual threat quarterback. He's the guy who wins 75% of his games. And yet he gets criticized the most. Yet he's literally the best at this thing that we claim to be a fan of. It's similar to point guards in the NBA. When guys are not traditional point guards, they're this athletic scoring guard. We love Allen Iverson's an icon. Gilbert Arenas was a fan favorite for years. Derrick Rose just retired, one of the best, an MVP. And yet, Russ, after the year after Kevin Durant left, and he started putting up all those triple doubles, and he hit the true pinnacle of an aggressive point guard, got criticized the most. Oh, he's just stat stuffing. Oh, it's not real. The guy who was literally doing this thing that we all claim to love, is doing it better than everybody, got criticized the most. And as I heard that, I thought, yeah, you're right. The Ravens get criticized despite Lamar, again, winning 75% of his games. Lamar, despite being a two-time MVP as a dual-threat quarterback, gets criticized more than all of them. Lamar is more accomplished, and I think Josh is a hell of a player. And I'm partially guilty of this. I would say Josh Allen's the second best player in football right now. But Lamar, since neither of them have a Super Bowl, Lamar is flat out more accomplished than Josh Allen. And yet Lamar gets criticized more. Lamar is scolded from a fan and media perspective more. He's not given the same credit as much as he's done in his career as a Josh Allen, as Burrow for beating Mahomes once. So, again, the Ravens, that A game, kicked the Bills' ass for 60 minutes. That's a great team. Put your power rankings, put whatever you want to this week, judging by your record, 0-2, can't make the playoffs, all this other stuff. But when that team lines up, you know you're playing one of the best teams in the NFL. Let's transition from there to talking about the Bills. Again, Josh Allen, in my opinion, is the second best player in football. I think what Josh Allen can do at his peak is as good as anyone, and it's in the same class as Mahomes. Mahomes obviously is far more accomplished. Mahomes has multiple Super Bowls. All that is wonderful. But Josh's A game, to me, feels like it's as good as anybody, including Mahomes. With that being said, though, a lot of times we want to give things to guys who we think are extremely talented. We want to give them accolades. We want to give them achievements, even if they haven't actually earned it yet. And that's a lot of Josh Allen's reputation. Because we see the arm talent, because we see the running ability, we want to just give him the MVPs that, we know he's going to get an MVP. We want to give him the rings. We know he's going to get to a Super Bowl. Hell, people want to put him in the Hall of Fame already. You know what the ultimate culmination of all that stuff is? Is giving away awards or accolades way too early leads us to the dumbest thing we can possibly talk to in sports. And Josh Allen is at the centerpiece of this, which is September MVP. There's 17 games every team has to play, 18 total weeks of NFL regular season. In no competition or no event, in nothing that you can think of, is less than 25% completed, can you be considered as the best of that particular event, season, or record? Josh Allen, through 3 games, I don't care if the Bills won every single game 56-0, and he accounted for every single touchdown. The September MVP narrative is just stupid. It's meaningless. I understand that you got to get certain things off just because of how the media works, and you got a YouTube and a podcast and all these internet shows as well as the big networks. And people are putting out MVP ballots after week 2. You know what should have really struck everyone as why September MVP is a stupid conversation? When Derek Carr is in the September MVP convo in 2024, that should have let everybody know, okay, this is pretty stupid. This isn't relevant. It doesn't mean anything. And for just the love of everything that is good in sports, we can do better. We can be better. Stop with the September MVPs. And again, Josh has always gotten off to some pretty good starts. The Bills have always gotten off to great starts. And it's always like, this is the year. This is the year. Just take a deep breath and let him actually play a couple games. And again, this isn't a Josh Allen critique. I think Josh Allen is great. But to have a September MVP conversation is just stupid. And that's coming from someone who watched a guy in Peyton Manning 2013 who probably put up the most convincing September you ever could. Through 7 touchdowns week 1. Through 4 weeks, had 15 of them. So that's where you need. That was the season ended up getting 55. That's about as convincing an argument as you can make in September. And I would have told you that was a dumb conversation if you tried to have it then too.